day, viewers and listeners, and welcome to the Progress Report. In this episode, you will hear from the CEO of Amaya Milk Company, who is also a member of the diaspora. He has found his niche in investment in Guyana.
Having the experience I have in North America and coming back to Guyana and wondering why don't we have a dairy sector? You know, we have all the pieces, as it were. You know, we have the conditions, the climatic conditions are right for it. We have the land, we have the land. You know, we have the people, the animals. You know, so the pieces are there, right? And it just needed somebody to put it together, right? And that was the thing that that really stuck out for me over many visits, right? I think like the genesis of this entire project is actually I had brought my daughter. She was about 6 months old, right? And I brought her back to Guyana. We spent a couple of months, and during that time, we wanted to get actual milk, right? Yeah, because the only thing that we found though in the supermarkets in Georgetown is basically powdered milk or that UHT. Now I'm trying to find milk, right? And the only place I could reliably get that, I was actually having a relative bring milk in from Abari to Georgetown every other day, just so the child can have, you know, proper quality milk. And through that, you know, whenever it comes up in conversation, I would talk about it and be like, you know, why is nobody doing this? And somebody just made sort of a offhand comment, well, maybe you should, right? And it's one of those things, you know, sometimes people say things just, you know, like I say, an offhand comment, but it really resonated, right? So for me, that was one of those things where that comment really resonated with me, and I'm like, why don't I do it, right? So I started thinking about this, and I spent a couple of years actually doing a fair bit of groundwork, trying to understand what the sector is, you know, what has been tried before, what went wrong, that sort of stuff, right? And I realized that it is actually doable, right? And me being in the sector over there gave me the tools that I needed, right, to come back here and really make this investment, you know, to make this something like this a reality. For me, you know, I love being in Guyana. The thing I talk about, you know, I always tell people, you know, I've been in Canada for 18 years, but in that 18 years, I came back to Guyana 16 times. Right? The hardest thing for me to do every single one of those times was get back on a plane. Right? And it's just, I absolutely love this place, and this was well before oil, by the way. Right? You know, this has always been, for me, long-term goal was always to come back here and do something to develop, you know, the country, to develop the economy, play my part, basically, right? And dairy is something that I'm intimately familiar with, and it's an opportunity for me to do just that, right? For me to come back and do my part in developing, right? So that's basically my why. The government has been actually very welcoming, right? Not just in terms of the support that they've given me before I got here, but just the things that they've been saying before that, right? One of the things that was really heartening to me is, you know, it's the President Ali has this vision for 25% by 2025, right? That's fantastic. Like that was literally music to my ears, right? Because as I'm going through the process of looking at the feasibility of this project and realizing that the government is not being short-sighted. You know, they're not just focusing on oil, right? They're actually working to diversify the economy. They're taking in investment in other sectors, developing the agriculture sector. You know, that sort of long-term vision, right? For me, and as an investor, that's literally putting everything into this project, right? It meant a lot to me, right? So in terms of incentives, the politics, I think, is very much favorable to investors. You know, the government has been very welcoming, and they do go out of their way to make sure that you get the tools that you need to get the job done, right? So I cannot understate that. that's where I see that we can have a significant impact, right? We can actually not just reduce the imports, but we can push products back into regional markets, right? Because the paneer, for instance, that we do, that is a durable product, right? You can freeze that and you can export that. So we can export that to all of the Caribbean islands, right? There's like basically we can even do, US, or now that we have regular flights to UK, maybe even we'll see a Maya milk paneer in the UK, right? But the possibility is there that we can actually turn the tide, right? We just need to organize the sector. One of the things that was very important to me coming back here to do this project is learning the lessons from North America, right? We see the mistakes that were made, right? Guyana is now in a unique position because we are developing, we can now avoid those mistakes, right? So one of the things that I'm doing is packaging in glass bottles. Reason for that is we know plastics are not good for us, right? We know that plastics break down when they're exposed to temperature, right? So it's not an ideal container for food, right? So we're not going to do that. We're going to package in returnable glass bottles. Now that's our next part of, right? Returnable glass bottles. Our bottles, our packaging does not go into the garbage, it does not go into the landfill, it doesn't go to clog up our drains. It gets returned, we clean it, we sanitize it, and we reuse that, right? So these are things that we're doing, right, to be sustainable, right? Because I love Guyana and I want it to be here for my kids and grandkids, and right. So I don't want to me it was pointless to come back here to do something if I'm going to do it bad, if I'm going to make it worse than what I found it, then that's it's pointless, right? You really want to do something that when you leave, it's better than the way you found it. Heavy cream is actually a big, it's one of the things that I hear from a lot of people in the diaspora. That's something that they want, right? People who come back and they're like, listen, we're just looking for a little heavy cream, whether, to make whipping cream or to put in whatever it is they're doing, right? So that's actually something that is going to be coming very soon. And then there are additional products that, they're related. But one of the things that I'm doing is I'm not trying to own all of this for myself, right? This isn't about self-enrichment. It's really about giving back and trying to do something better, trying to do something bigger, right? And part of that is working with partners, right? So I can supply the milk. Let's say if somebody has, they want to do a specific type of cheese that's not available on the market, I will give you quality milk and you can now make that. Somebody wants to make yogurt. We're actually in talks with a partner that is looking at doing yogurt and ice cream using our milk, right? So there's places like that where we can work with partners, right? So that we're not just trying to build ourselves, but we're actually trying to build a full dairy sector in Guyana.
Guyana continues to be on course to achieve an expanded GDP growth rate fueled by its rapidly expanding oil and gas industry. We therefore encourage investors, especially from the diaspora, to explore the many opportunities that are available. Until next time, I am Vivekanand Rajkumar.